I will give here some reasons why that is happening. Why university today is so frustrating for principally people with creative faculties and intellectual creative faculties. Yeah, people who want to discover and do primary and fundamental research. Okay, so I will resume, and in fact these things, they can be developed maybe in another video or another text, etc. The first point is the terrifying lack of intellectual virtue. Yeah, what I mean by that? That's in fact a complex term, and there is many things inside that. But for example, intellectual virtue is that you know what you want to know, for example, and you have interest to show what you don't know. You have interest to define what is exactly the problem that you are talking about. That you, for example, that you want to know something no matter what, no matter if the university is working or not. So intellectual virtue, yeah, you can understand that as intellectual honesty also. For example, if you give impression that you know more than you in fact know, yeah. And an easy example for that, many students, in fact, from my personal experience, I have the feeling that I learned more to give a good impression about that I can give impression that I know more than I know, yeah, than whatever you can expect. If you ask what is a bachelor thesis for today, that is for you give an impression that you know more than you know, and the more you come to people who are really desperate for a grade, yeah, because of another reasons that you can discover by your own, just by asking, yeah. These people, they sometimes even don't want to it's not important to them if you get it, that they are kind of in a hypocrisy, intellectual hypocrisy, yeah. So sometimes in the bachelor thesis they appear like an academical, but outside in the normal world they simply don't give a fuck for that. Okay, that's the point. I am not criticizing that you are normal and natural on your normal life, but that you have a kind of continuum among your interests, and that is the key word and the key thing for every academical constitution. Okay, that is what keeps the thing as an virtuous unity. Okay, for the whole knowledge of a society, etc. Okay, so let me jump ahead. You have this is the first idea of intellectual virtues, and we can of course explore more this concept. The another thing is what I would like to call dialectical integration. If you see at the beginning, before the universities exist, okay, there was already a kind of plan, okay, about how can human beings coming from unknown to knowledge, okay, from ignorance to knowledge, okay. In our history, two philosophers were absolute fundamental for that, Plato and Aristotle, okay. They are in a general sense the same thing, but the most important aspect you need to understand there is that Aristotle was a kind of culmination of everything that Plato and Socrates were trying, so to say, okay. Aristotle systematized how we get from ignorance to knowledge, okay, and one very evident principle of this motion from unknown to knowledge is that you at least you define the fucking problem you are talking about, and you know that this problem really is a solid, important problem, okay, that it matters. So what happens today, and that is related to intellectual virtue, yeah? Every student chose by their own how is called Eitelkeit, Gabo. Eitelkeit.
Eitelkeit.
Vaidade.
No.
Vanity, yeah. By means of own vanity, they choose whatever they want to talk about because they just like it, okay. So we have a pantheon of idiosyncratic academical production, okay. So if you go to the university to do that, why don't you stay in the social media, okay? Why don't you do a video like I am doing now about what you like, okay? The university is not only about what you like. What matters is that you try to like what is objective, what is an objective problem, okay? So you don't come to a faculty of philosophy and you say that it doesn't matter to you if Jesus existed or not, if the biblical content is 90% astrological or not, okay? Of course it matters to you, and it matters for your formulation of your new problems, whatever the field it may be. You can speak, for example, about logic or about social sciences or whatever, music theory, painting, okay? But you need to acknowledge that there is objective problems, and there is a way to go about that, okay? So in these fields where you have a kind of freedom, so arts department and social sciences, philosophy, this consciousness is absolute lost, okay? The thing is a little bit better in some natural science, where there is more consensus about what were the problems that really matter, okay? For example, in physics, what is the relation between the microphysics and macrophysics, for example, okay? And the normal world, okay? Cosmology and the micro quantum physics, okay? If the same laws, if the laws are the same for different categories of the reality, so to say, that's objective problem, and you can speak about whatever you want, of course, in physics, but not neglect that this problem is already there as an objective thing. And I don't see that in another areas, okay? I have the feeling that I speak about whatever I want in music theory and whatever I want in philosophy. Then there is, of course, a determination and a kind of limit that say, no, you cannot speak about whatever you want. And what is the limit? The limit is the research project that you need to submit, okay? and it may be sometimes in an average university not more than 2 projects. Yeah, then you have only two choice. For example, maybe in social department, in department for sociology, then you have the choice to do a work with a teacher who is specialized in Adorno, or a teacher who is specializing on Foucault. Okay, and then you can ask God. They are quite the same. They are both left-wing thinkers. Okay, so you have the illusion of choice. No, there is a lot of to talk about here. So many aspects, of course, so many aspects, but you don't have the freedom to choose what is objective. Yeah, so that's a kind of antinomy. In one hand, you have this feeling that you can talk about whatever you want. Okay, there is not a real objective problem, and at another hand, you are completely pressured inside a research program that is already there, a paradigm. Okay, dialectical integration. Then that is for the students. And now, if you consider the scholarship, the teacher, professors, etc. So they go to congresses. Okay, and what happens there? It happens that everyone is concerned only with their own thing, okay? And it happens, for example, that if you read something or present something on a congress, today in philosophy or music, okay? What happens is that you have maybe 5 minutes to talk about that after your presentation, or 10 minutes. Then every intelligent person can acknowledge that in 10 minutes there is not a discussion that is relevant for scientific purpose, for purpose of knowledge. Okay, discussions and dialogues that are relevant for scientific purpose, they need at least 2 hours per day or something like that. Okay, or 2 hours on the week. Okay, or if you have less time, then you need to increase the precision of the rules. You need to attempt to do it right. Okay, so what we have there is not a discussion scientifically correct, so to say, but we have a very nice time. That's what the people want there. They have a nice time. Okay, and this nice time is about 10 or 20 minutes. Then you can give 30 minutes, but then there is so many people who are talking. Okay, they have this time, and then after that, what they have is 10 hours tourism. Okay, and visiting things or kind of socializing with other people. Okay, that's also very important. But what is the main scientific task for those philosophers or artists? Okay, I forgot something about intellectual virtue. Okay, but that maybe I can let it so. So the dialectic integration. Another thing, you speak about your own thing. Okay, so you are a kind of specializing in Adorno. You speak about Adorno, and you think that you are going beyond your field when you consider your colleague that speak about Deleuze and Foucault or wherever close to that. Okay. What I mean with dialectical integration is that after you formulated a problem in the way I say it with the Aristotle, so you need to consider the 2 opposite ways to handle this problem, okay, or more ways. Okay, now let me think if in 10 minutes you can consider the opposition to your own ideas. Okay, for example, you defend one idea, and you heard the contrary of that, and how many times do you have to really acknowledge if that is reasonable, and how many time has your opponent to really develop consistently another opinion, okay, opinion that is new or contrary. And the worst that it can happen if that is new and contrary, okay, because something new is already hard to understand because it's new, okay, and something contrary is already a treat, okay. So you don't have a dialectical integration. You don't have dialectical integration already on the normal academical activity in your studies, okay. As a student, you don't do that, okay. You never see a bachelor thesis or master thesis that can handle an opposition seriously, okay. So and why it happens, and now I come back to the intellectual virtue, because a lot of maybe the main thing I want to risk here, maybe the main problem why universities are failing is that always, if you need to talk about something important on the university, today you get to a polemic confrontation. And this polemic confrontation will lead you to something personal, okay? So you have to have balls, so to say, to explain sometimes such concepts, some concepts, or to defend an idea, if the point is to defend an idea, okay? Many people don't have balls to say exactly what they are thinking, okay? What is in fact a first requirement if you want to work as a scholar, okay, as a academic. So you don't have dialectical integration because of this weak side of your dialectical of your intellectual virtues also, okay? There is no intellectual virtue if you don't have some virtues already, okay? So these things, they are all together. As I said, we can explore more that. So last thing that I think is important in this overview is in fact teachers today and many people from this academical world, so-called academical world, that's in fact, it looks like school sometimes more than ever, is these people don't know what is happening, okay? The people who are older than me, etc., they don't know what is happening in the world today, okay? Of course, if you go more on direction of sociology, some fields they require that you are more actualized, okay? But for example, even yet on arts or philosophy, many teachers, they are completely aside of what is happening. Sometimes on their fields, that can happen also, but principally on the world. That's a complicated question, because you may say, okay, no, I read here on the newspaper and I know what is happening on the world. No, that's why you don't know what is happening in this world, because you are reading a newspaper. Everyone who wants to know what is happening in this world needs to come to the internet first, and after that you need to do a kind of meta research to find the reliable source inside the internet, okay? And then third, you don't have even the people who are busy with this matter. What is happen? What is happen on social media, for example? What is happen with women and men? What is happen with music, etc. Even people who are more busy with that, they of course cannot know already everything about it, because they are a kind of isolated heroes or something like that. So the teachers don't know what is happening in the world now, and principally on internet. Okay, so they teach on the university as it were like 30 years ago, and they will fail over again, because the people today who really want to know something, they are going to internet or they are going alone to library. The majority of people who are going to universities, they are people who go to the university because of fear, okay, not because of courage to knowledge. Okay, it's the inverse is what is happening. Okay, so you have a famous example that even Jordan Peterson, I think he prioritized more his YouTube channel today as his activities on the university. If that is not true, at least what he does there in his YouTube channel is already historical, because it's a kind of encyclopedia what he tried to achieve. You can imagine if I think if Hegel were living today, or principally one Nietzsche or Voltaire, of course they would not teach at the university. They would search another reliable source where they have the feeling that people who are hearing really wants to know. Okay, so teachers don't know what is happening, and there is two reasons for that. Sometimes just ignorance, or don't have access, or is abused with another thing. And another reason is I feel that they neglect that, because it's a common pattern among teachers who are already comfortable with their lives. Okay, that they neglect what can treat the established order, so to say. Okay, that's a common human behavior, and here I think it happens more than ever. For example, I heard some teachers saying already, don't look at the Wikipedia, for example. She has not quite better to offer than Wikipedia. That's the point. Okay, Wikipedia can be not 100% reliable. Okay, but the way that it can systematize some knowledge, okay, it's absolutely not problematic, because even if it's false, the knowledge there is a kind of, it goes always more clear and systematized, and you can check if something is false. That's the point. Okay, on this world of knowledge, sometimes it's not the most important thing, and until some limits, that you say the truth. But if you say something in a way that people can verify if it is truth, then it's quite better than a teacher who spoke so much and in a hurry, and in a way that you got like hypnotized by her or the knowledge, okay, as it were knowledge. Okay, so my aim here was to give overview and a kind of this spontaneous talk about this topic, where people just need to hear about. It's not a complicated thing. I think people just need to have more confidence to talk about that, and don't be so afraid to tell what is in front of their own eyes, own eyes, yeah, etc. So thanks for hearing, and I thank the Gaba who is doing the video, and now I will do as I would play the guitar, but I will not.